So chapter 20 is about incremental analysis. So we are going to use our information about CVP and our understanding with how variable costs change with units produced to actually look at some different types of business decisions that we could make. So what is incremental analysis? What I'd like for you to do is go ahead and in the Wiley Plus resources, watch this real world video for method and try and get an understanding of what exactly it is that they are doing that could be considered incremental analysis. And after you've done that, then come back to this video. So what do you need to know about? So incremental revenues and costs really are defined by the same thing. The idea here is we're just trying to get an understanding of what is incremental or what changes between alternatives. So we're focusing on revenues and costs that differ between various alternatives. And what that's going to mean is there's going to be some things that we don't consider, such as sunk costs, because those don't differ between alternatives. So let's go ahead and put the definition of a sunk cost in there. When you think of a sunk cost, that's something that is already incurred and has no impact and isn't relevant to our decision. When we think of all opportunity costs, though, that is a little bit different. And so an opportunity cost by definition is what is something that we are giving up, some sort of opportunity that we're giving up based on a decision that we're going to make. So for example, if we gave up a $30 price for a $25 price, the opportunity cost of that are $5 less. But there could be other opportunity costs, just meaning that we're giving up one thing when we make a choice for another. And if that's the case, those are considered a relevant cost or a relevant revenue. So opportunity cost is what are you giving up based on the choice that you're making? Now, to do incremental analysis, these different items, we're actually going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second. And we are going to look at instead some in-class problems that I think will help with this. So let's start on the accepting a special price. All right, so the question here is, do we want to accept this special price? Now, there's a couple of things that are important. First of all, I want to point out here, this is a special order. And it says, this is assuming we have excess operating capacity, meaning that we have room to make more if we needed to or wanted to, okay? So just keep that in mind and I'll explain why that's important here in just a minute. So Super Cup incurs a cost of $20 a unit, 15 is variable, 5 is fixed to make these cups. Each product normally sells for $35. Now, another customer is offering to buy 10,000 units at $25 each. So we're giving up that $10 of revenue, right? But really what we're saying in a reject or accept the order, if we don't accept this new order, we're not generating any additional revenue or any additional cost, meaning that there is no additional net income. But if we accept the order, we're going to accept the order of $25 per unit times 10,000 units. So $25 times 10,000. That means our revenue would be 250,000. Now, I want you to treat this as just a calculation. Over here, though, this column says, well, what's your increase or decrease? Well, if we accept the order, we're going to increase our net income by 250,000. Now let's look at cost, okay? our cost, we only want to focus on the variable cost. We're not focusing on fixed cost. So it says the costs are $15 variable, but we're going to have additional shipping charges of $1 if we take on this customer. So we want to make sure that we account for the $15 of variable cost plus the extra $1 of shipping per unit and take that times the 10,000 units. And those are costs. So that means our net income for accepting this order would be 90,000. Now, when we have additional costs in a an accept or reject decision, we know that if we have additional costs, those are going to decrease our net income. So over here, this is really a gap statement presentation. This is really just tell me what's happening to income. Is it increasing or is it decreasing? So we should get the same answer regardless, which is 90,000. Okay. So should we accept this special order? Quantitatively, are we making money? Yeah. So we would accept it. Okay. A couple other things to consider though. Is this the only alternative? Are there other opportunities out there? Different things that we could be thinking about? Should we try to increase our capacity? Do we have additional buyers for this 10,000? So just some other things to consider that are considered qualitative factors. So keep that in mind. But first question is, are we making money? If we are, then the rules say, yes, let's go ahead and accept the order. Now, just to reiterate, what are the relevant revenues? Okay, since we have excess capacity, $25 a unit is the relevant revenue. Remember, this is what changes across alternatives. Again, since we have excess capacity, we need to consider the $15 variable cost plus the new $1 variable cost for shipping. And that's accept or reject. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, and I'll come back with the second video that wraps up these other decisions.